probably going to be Baron lane bans for the side of Capybara, and then probably support bans, I would say, or maybe mid lane bans for the side of Baguette.
Yes, potentially trying to get rid of a few of Cold Q's picks there, but I mean, he can play quite a plethora of the support champions there, and some of them are quite unconventional picks as well. But yeah, the Fiora ban comes through, Nautilus ban coming through there as well, so making sure taking Nautilus off of the table. We could potentially see Ornn come through because Ornn hasn't been banned here. Gragas is banned there, so Monaco definitely not having it because he's got the Galio. And the Xin Zhao is the last ban there for Capybara Elites there. So the jungle pool is looking mightily fine for Mr. Ferox there. What are we going to see him go on to?
5 jungle bans on the side of Evergaming Capybara. Really insane to see that many bans focused on one player. I think the last time we ever saw that was, I mean, I'm trying to think when the last time we actually saw that was. I mean, it's probably a long time ago. Last time we saw 5 targeted bans towards a single player. But we'll have to see what he's going to pick up. He can still pick up that Shen. Obviously didn't perform as well on it, but still as a champion is very strong. Maybe you can go for more for another strong champion as well. But Jack's being picked up for the Baron lane for Final Wax. We'll have to see here. Olaf. Wow, I've not seen Olaf in a hot second. I do not remember the last time I've seen Olaf. Volibear is also very good.
Yeah.
Vi also a pretty good option. There are still some good options, even though, a lot of champions have been banned away. It's going to be Vi.
I think maybe the Vi or the Volibear would have been a better shout rather than going for, say, for example, we saw Diana get bloated over a little bit there, which would be a little bit like it's just a replacement for the Evelyn, but not as good or in the tier within competitive because she's not played as much. But yeah, Vi or the Volibear, because they other than the Galio, they don't really have much of a front line, whereas Vi can go in with a ball breaker, try and do some upset with a CC before the targeted champion can do any damage. So the likes of the Ariana, or trying to keep their lockdown the Jace as well. But we were correct thinking that Cold Q were going to pick up the Ornn there because it does come through. So we got the Ariana down in the bot lane with Ornn, Jace in the mid lane going against Vladimir, and then Aatrox going against Vi in the jungle, and then Jax and the Camille up in the Baron lane. So Final Wax back on his Jax from yesterday, which he did very well on.
I have to see. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, for the side of Baguette, they kind of had a bit of a warm-up game yesterday, whereas Evergaming Capybara has not had any warm-up matches at all. So I have to see if that comes into fray. But both these teams have so many high-level players. I can't predict this one. This one is way too difficult. I would say maybe Capybara have a bit of an edge, but it's like 60-40, honestly. It might even be 55-45. Like, it's extremely close because both of these teams are extremely talented, and they have a lot of strong players.
Absolutely. But you've got the likes of the Aatrox and the Jace on the side of Capybara. 2 first strikes as well. So Ariana taking the first strike as well as Jace in the mid lane. So, and we know what Jace is like in terms of build. That lethality first item is generally the... Oh, hey! He had a mouthful of that lasagna. He was a little bit preoccupied with the scran.
Fine, it's finished now. It was the last bite.
Last bite. How was it? Can we get a rating in the chat?
Meh, bro. It'll do. It'll fill me up. I mean, I don't really have any other option. It's just a quickie.
A quickie.
Quickie, then we're out.
A quickie lasagna. Bish bash bosh.
Yep.
Real good nosh.
All right, here we go.
Where I am in relation to you in terms of this. Oh, I'm actually ahead. Lol.
Here we go. Interesting. So Cold Star decided to start off in the Baron lane, and Monaco didn't go into the Baron lane. So very interesting to see how that's going to affect things. Final Wax is going to be a little bit of trouble, but should be okay.
Yeah, from Final Wax's performance yesterday, I think he'll be able to outlast a 2v1 here. But it is Cold Q and it is Sack Q. They I mean Cold Star, but he generally goes by Cold Q. They both have Q in the last part of their name, so clearly a little bit of a synergy buff there between the two. In terms of names, Jace with the knockback in at the mid lane as well. But it's a little bit of tit for tat as we used to see it in these games, especially just testing the waters in the first game of the series. So just seeing what the other team play like, even though these guys have probably played together before in the group stages. But this is where you start to play different picks, different plays, because everything and much more is on the line in this scenario.
We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here for these two teams. Nothing crazy happening so far.
Big Dirk energy on the Jace there in the mid lane. Go for his lethality item first. Gluttonous Grease being built on Aatrox, so boots already built on enemy jungle there. Sheen coming through for Vi, so potential Trinity Force first item for Vi there.
Some of these players not opting in. Oh, a lot of damage here, a lot of aggression.
There we go. First blood for Baguette with a sauerkraut getting out the jungler. So for Ton going down on the Aatrox there. So well played by Baguette, taking first blood, which is always a great place and a great start for any team, as we established in the last game. But that Vi lockdown was definitely the one that Baguette needed to get them ready. Eddie.
Cold Star unfortunately mistimed the knock-up, wasn't able to get it because Vi is unstoppable during the ultimate, so
yep,
a little bit unfortunate there. Interesting enough that some players are deciding to build items instead of going for the boots upgrade first. You know, players like the Vi and also the Jace. Normally you see just boots upgrade being built first because it's super cheap, super efficient, but maybe S-Style had to go back to base, and that's the only thing that he could afford at the time. Interesting, S-Style now plays mid lane because he's known as a Baron laner.
He was, yeah.
So playing mid lane now is a very interesting turn of events here for S-Style. So interested to see how he's going to do against the likes of Dodon, who some would say is one of the best mid laners in Europe right now.
Yeah, someone who's a predominant mid laner is going against somebody that used to be a Baron lane, but now decides to venture in to the mid lane. But it's a 3v1 takedown, potentially the final wax here. But that Galio ult comes through just in time from Monaco there, coming all the way from Monaco up to the top lane. He did on that Galio ult, so well played and well saved by his teammate. But how long is he going to be safe for? Jace and the Ornn are still up in that Baron lane waiting. But we got Vi, we've got Galio, we've got Karma all on the enemy jungle side here, looking for a way in, trying to start on the red buff here. I mean, this is a big price to pay when you go down for the red buff, so it's a bit of a trade there. So Vi for Aatrox, and then Karma gets the kill onto the Aatrox there. So a little bit of a trade. Final Wax going in with a counter-strike on 3 of the champions, but it's not enough. Ariana gets a double kill, and there we go. Okay, Carrot Cop getting some pokey-wokey damage there onto the Jace. So well played to Carrot Cop.
3 for 2 exchange in the end, a bit of overextension there for the side of Baguette. They, as you said, you know, they tried to, you know, look towards that red buff, but unfortunately not being able to take it away. Now it seems like the team Baguette is looking towards the dragon. Saying that, looks like Ferox is actually going to stop taking away the raptors and actually look towards going towards his Rift Herald.
Whoa, one of the blue team already down, so down goes Monaco already, and we're looking for a second kill there. So Camille comes in, takes down Carrot Cop as well. So we're currently going into a Rift Herald camp here. Down by 2 of your teammates is not a good look for Baguette here. However, even though Baguette managed to get that first blood, we see that the Capybara have got 5 kills to 3. Shelly in the mid lane taking a lot of those mid lane turret platings, but Jace goes down as well. So overall, a 2-1 trade there for Capybara. But we see still some more engages. They're not quite done. They are still thirsting for blood.
The Capybara just had the perfect setup there for the Rift Herald. A bit too late, really, for the side of Baguette to even contest towards the Rift Herald. You can see that the fight was pretty much already over before it even started, with that one ultimate coming through and everything else. Monaco going really, really deep. Not too sure what Monaco is doing there. Completely lost. That'd be like me if I ever went to Monaco, be completely lost and wouldn't know where the hell to go. And that's exactly what happened to him. And that's going to be another kill.
Need a map.
Yeah, I need a map. Need a map of Wild Rifts. Need a map of Summoner's Rifts.
That's it. Monaco definitely needed it in that time. I think, but I mean, his utility there, it seemed like it was well intentioned, but however, we see that Don gets taken out down in the bot lane thanks to that 4v1. The Vi and the Karma, sorry, not quite getting there in time. The Capybara putting intense pressure on these first tier turrets, so bot lane looking to fall here as well. And they've got mid lane pretty much lined up for the next turret, which was kind of the same tactics we used to see with Government yesterday. They would start one turret, they'd get Shelly down. It wouldn't quite take that turret. It would just leave it with a little bit of lick of damage left to do, and then they would take a turret elsewhere. So it's then setting up for a 2 turret takedowns rather than just getting that one secured with Shelly. It gives them a little bit more pressure in these priority lanes. And the side lanes for now are definitely where the pressure needs to be with that mid lane, especially on the side of Dragon, considering Baguette managed to get the first Dragon as well.
Very nice hit for Capybara. Gives themselves an early gold lead in this game. First tower of the game as well. Faton playing extremely well here on the Aatrox. And again, Aatrox being such a high priority pick for these two teams. And for pretty much the most of the playoffs. Probably one of the most picked champions, I would say.
Oh yeah, we've definitely gone from a switch up in the jungle. Aatrox is definitely dominating a jungle pick as well. I mean, he's quite heavily picked within the WRLA2 also. But yeah, it's just I would assume that a champion like that would be a prio ban. If it's such a high pick rate champion, that it would be a more considered ban as well, more contested. But it just seems to be whoever gets priority pick, they try and lock it in with red side so they can get like either their duo lane down or their ADC down, as well as the Aatrox, or mid lane and Aatrox, rather than the blue side taking the Aatrox pick instead. So maybe it was a little bit of lack of knowledge there from Baguette, or it was planned all along. But we see the Camille going in onto final Waxu down in the bot lane. Aatrox coming through as well, so Fatam managing to flash in there and catch up the Aatrox. But is he going to get him? He gets it. He lands the hit. He takes down final Wax down in the duo lane. But we see a trade across the map for Don there onto the Jace. And then the takedown Coldie as well in the Baron lane. Could this be the first turret for Baguettes now?
Might get a tower in the top lane, but they're going to lose this tier 2 tower in the mid lane, which is really going to open up the map here for Capybara. The big thing is right now is that it was a good cross map play from Baguette. You know, they were able to trade 2 for 1 in terms of kills, but they're really losing pressure on the map in terms of turrets. And you can see now the game has gifted them. Oh, some would say maybe gift them, maybe looking to try and, you know, get them back into the game with these objective bounties. But across the board right now, there are a lot of gold leads over to the side of Capybara, notably in the jungle and in that duo lane. Nearly a 2,000 gold lead in that duo lane. Even though Karakop has 3 kills, Prince has been able to get a lot of, you know, minions and a lot of, you know, gold from these towers. Speaking of towers, there's a 4th tower going down now. And to be honest, this might even be a 5th tower, because everyone on the side of Baguette are all in bot lane. And they could just be losing another tier 2 tower down here.
Yeah, which is huge for a side lane to be taken down to a tier 2 turret already. There's that Hextech ultimatum onto final Wax. The counter strike just did not land onto Jax there to stop that punishing damage from the Jax, and they do secure the 2nd tier turret as well. So 5 turrets just past 10-minute mark. This has been an absolute stomp in terms of turrets. Not quite in kills. Yes, the 10-6. It's not a huge amount to be running away with. But in terms of the Dragons, Baguette does have the advantage there, but I think that advantage will soon come to an end since they are down a member already, and the Mountain Drake is now alive. They are down 2 turrets in the mid lane, they're down 1 turret on the side lane, and in Baron lane, they are down 2 turrets as well. So plenty of pressure to be had whilst they try and consider a fight for this Mountain Drake.
Oh, it looks like both the engaged are going to come in. Huge shockwave from Prince. That shockwave was absolutely huge, and I think that's going to win the fight here for Capybaras. Everyone is so low, but Don is healing up so much in these fights. There is so much healing, but it's a triple kill over to Prince. The shockwave really won the fight there for Capybara. It was a 3-for-3 trade overall. And both teams have to reset and go back to base, but my god, that was some insane AoE damage. If Monaco's ultimate was a little bit earlier, then the shockwave damage would have been non-existent, but because Prince used that shockwave so early, that 3-man shockwave really made the difference there and really brought Capybara back into the fight. But even trade overall.
Absolutely. I think the thing that Capybara's really got to get against the wall here is that obviously Orianna is only the AP champion on the team. So the team at Baguette actually haven't really built anything in terms of magic resistance. So when that shockwave does come through, it comes through with absolute relentless damage because nobody has any magic resistance. They're all playing with plated steel caps, which rightfully so because most of the team are attack damage orientated. But not having any bit of magic resistance really allows that shockwave to come through and just absolutely demolish like it did in that team fight.
Oh, that was probably one of the closest team fights I think we've had this weekend so far, or this playoff so far.
Absolutely.
Crazy. So much AoE damage from this Karma, and also this Orianna really shows what the potential is of these AP carries down in the dual lane. But everyone at the moment on the side of Capybara just grouping up together, which is pretty important to do right now. You can see Final Wax is split pushing in this Baron lane, but doesn't have that whole breaker just yet, but is still able to take towers very quickly. But you can see the rest of Capybara looking to try and collapse, but they know that if they put too many members in this Baron lane, they are going to lose that Baron. And again, a huge shockwave. Ooh. And this damage is absolutely insane. The engage is huge from Cold Star, and that's what the Ornn support pick can do. You don't need that many items, you don't need that many kills. It's the setup that is the difference really for Ornn. Huge poke from both Prince and E-Style on the Jace and the Orianna, and that is the difference right now. The perfect bait, and now the Baron in the hands of Capybara.
Yeah, Baron's in the hands of Capybara. Obviously, Final Wax was completely absent from that team fight, but even if he was in there, I don't think there would have been much for him to upset in the entire team fight. I think he's just trying to get some gold in terms of this split push here, trying to give some side lane prio to his teammates, but currently looking at a 5k gold difference on the side of Almighty Capybara, and now they have the Baron Nashor, so these pushes within these lanes are just going to become more hardcore on the side of the Capybara, whereas Baguette just have to try, and I think it's just GG go next. Let's see what we can do in the draft. I feel like the draft is just a little bit different here on the side of Capybara personally, and then because we have no magic resistance for stopping or negating this Orianna, it's just being able to run free.
Absolutely crazy. I wonder how much they can actually do with this Baron though, because there's not a lot that maybe can be done here. Final Wax is going to take this Baron lane tower.
Oh, okay.
It does have Zaku here to stop him. Zaku does do a lot of damage on this Camille, especially with Hull Breaker now on this Camille. It becomes a lot more difficult for this Jax to compete. But meanwhile, there's a fight in the mid lane. Don is actually playing super aggressive here and looking to try and close the gap between the two teams. Flashes forward as well. The Sanguine pull is actually not enough, but they are going to get one kill. That is really huge. This Vladimir is starting to stack up and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, we saw the flash for the Proto Belt come through. Obviously, the status was hoping to negate the takedown of the Jace, but however, we just saw all of the baguettes formulate into a lovely or warm package there and managed to take out the Jace, and they're looking to do a little bit more here as well. So the aftershock comes through, not quite as effective as it
the
once
knockoff from
was,
Cold Star.
but the Ornn is huge. He's trying to take down Final Wax there. The status comes through into the team fights of the Galio, but it looks like it's going to go in the favor of Capybara there. It's currently a 1-1 trade. Everyone's hiding. Everyone's looking for a recall. Everyone is just looking to play it a little bit more safe now that Don is back there with full health and his shield for the crown of the Shattered Crown of the Queen, sorry.
You know, it's just a 1-for-0 exchange, because I think Eastar just died before that kind of mid lane fight even really started. So a big win there for Capybara to be able to set up now for this dragon is really, really huge here. You can try and see they're trying to get vision. They're trying to get some of the objective control around this next dragon. A Cold Star again dashing in, doing so much damage to this Galio, and there is nothing that they can do. Cold Star has been smurfing it on this Ornn, getting pick after pick, and it's Orianna damage as well. Four items, Orianna at 17 minutes into the game. This Orianna is just doing an incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, 6-0-7 on Orianna right now within a competitive match is something that you just didn't think you was going to see within the playoffs. But hey-ho, Prince is absolutely smurfing. Just with Cold Q completely setting up his lane, obviously, to begin with. In the start of the match, we didn't have Cold Q in the duo lane. Prince just literally held his own there. Coldy was up in the top lane with Zac. So for Orianna to get this far with what she's done is absolutely ace. For lack of better words of their previous name. But it looks like they're going to go for the Baron Nashor once again, potentially for Capybara. Are they going to start it? Are they not? Are they going to bait it? The pinging. Maybe it's a bait. Maybe.
They don't want to set up just yet because Zaku's down the bot lane. He doesn't have TP or anything, so there's no way of him actually getting into the fight. So them starting that Baron would have been way too risky, and they made the right play here just to kind of step away from it for now, especially because the Elder Drake is also coming up very, very soon. The Final Wax up in the Baron lane now. Final Wax does have that hole breaker. Maybe Phaeton can try and kill the Jax, but Phaeton doesn't care about that at all. They're just going to let them scrap up in the Baron lane because he knows if he shows himself in this Baron lane, it's going to be lights out for this Elder Drake, and you know the Baguette are just going to try and get this Elder Drake as soon as possible. But both teams now setting up around this Baron. There's a big 1v1 fight happening in the Baron lane. Cold Star going in again, triple knockup, and the follow-up Ornn ultimate as well. The status starts coming through, so it does stop the knockup, but it doesn't mean anything at all. The Aatrox is going to do enough damage to kill one. Can the Aatrox kill another? No, the taunt comes in for now. The Don is here to maybe clean things up. He is going to start to do a lot of damage, and the healing is there as well. Crown of Shattered Queen gets popped. The Proto Belt forward, and the Don takes one. It's the Don against the world right now, and you can see why Don is just so damn good at this game. But meanwhile, whilst this was all happening, Zaku actually won the 1v1 in the top lane as well against Final Wax. So this is currently a 4 versus 2. It's a Don and Monaco against the world, but we've seen what Vladimir can do before. The shockwave misses in the back line. Don needs to heal back up because he is very, very low on health. He's trying to heal back up from the Grump, but doesn't look like it'll be enough. The Elder Drake is going to go in the hands of Capybara, and what an incredible exchange that was.
Huge exchange across the map, like you say. And the Jax going 1v1 against the Camille up in the Baron lane, actually losing the inhibitor as well. So I think Jax and Final Wax is definitely doing his deed as a Baron lane split pushing. With that, Jax has been definitely his strong suit within this game and giving his team a support line within this match, because in terms of the gold, there's still 5k behind, and at 20 minutes there's definitely worse positions you could be in. But Don and Monaco there in that previous exchange was huge in terms of what they did, but they did, however, lose the Elder Dragon towards that, and we have plenty of 1v1s going on again. So Hextech Ultimatum back onto the Final Wax. Don goes down in the other team fight as well, so they get the Baron, they take out Don. Don is down, Orianna takes down the Vi. It's a double kill for Aatrox. and it is pretty much a team wipe other than that Jax trying to do his best by pushing that side lane, just reverting back to autopilot because that's all he's knowing right now and that's all he can do. But that Nexus is definitely going to go down for Capybara here. They take the first game of the series against Baguettes, but Baguettes did do some really good interactions throughout that game. So I hope they learn from this one and just try and apply it in that next match.
Desperation play right at the end for Baguette. They know that if they lose the Baron, they're pretty much going to lose the game anyway. But when you're going into a team fight against an Elder Drake, against the Baron buffed up Capybaras, it's going to be extremely difficult. Pretty dominant in the end from Capybara.
On the side of Capybara, I knew for a fact that was going to come through for Baguette, and they do ban out the Ornn as well, so they do not want that play making Ornn from ColdQ this time. But unfortunately, I have to say to him, ColdQ is just not a one-trick pony player. He can play plenty of these support champs very, very well.
Oh, we'll have to see what the last bans are going to be. Ornn banned away, no surprise. Corki banned away as well. Galio banned. Interesting that Capybara, sorry, Baguette are banning away supports. They don't have a support pick themselves, but they do have the first pick of this second rotation. We do have to see what they're going to pick up here as the support. You know, Galio's still open. Sorry, not Galio's still open. Gragas is still open. So that will probably be the decision there. Nautilus being banned away. So yeah, pretty much the only sport that's left is Gragas, and then you go down into like tier 2, which is like Leona, probably. It's pretty much it in terms of, you know, really strong support picks that can be picked up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Alistair get banned quite a few times in the last game, and just as I said it, Alistair is being hovered here for the side of the Baguettes, so clearly the Alistair comes through with the boinking potential, and the knockups with the heal is definitely one to look out for, to be honest. We haven't seen Monaco play the Alistair yet. I thought he was going to go for his comfort pick of the Gragas, but I feel like Evergaming Capybara would have made that a little bit too predictable, knowing that he would have gone for the Gragas as the support pick there. But Gragas is still open. Could we see a Gragas support for Evergaming, or will we see that set up in... Actually, that set would probably be a support pick for ColdQ. I've seen it before, and it's coming through clearly.
Very, very interesting.
Or it could, I mean, they could play it in mid. I don't know why they play it in mid against the Vladimir, but I assume it's going to be set support.
Yeah, I think it is going to be set support because not really anywhere else that the set could go, unless you go set Baron lane like we saw Patterson do in the previous game, but doesn't seem like a ZQ champion. Yone, though, is an interesting one. I mean, Jax is already locked in as well. So Jax up in the Baron lane, Aatrox jungle, Yone in the mid with a set, and Ziggs is going to be the final pick here. Ziggs is very, very powerful pick here.
Yep, so Carrot Cup on his Ziggs. I mean, yesterday it was pretty much a secured ban champion yesterday. I think that's why Carrot Cup didn't get to pick it. But yeah, Ziggs ult going into these team fights could be huge. They don't really have anything to really negate the damage from the Ziggs ult when it comes through before massive engage from the team. But they have a huge front line as well. So they've got the Shen and the Alistair. And then they've got Fiora, obviously. Final wax on his Fiora in these team fights is something to be feared. But yeah, the Yone into Vlad is going to be interesting. And obviously ColdQ on the set. Like I say, some of his picks are unconventional, which sometimes generally do work for ColdQ. I'm probably going to see him up in the Baron lane again with Zach for the first time, first part of the match, whilst we have Orianna down in the bot lane, just poking it out. And Prince has been shown in that first match that is more than capable of doing a 2v1 against Baguette. So let's see how this match goes. It's getting into it in 3, 2, 1. I'm not too sure how Ferox is going to perform on this Shen and how it's going to really shine on the team. I hope for the sake of Baguettes that they manage to get a 1-1 victory, because I mean, going into a 2-0 like they did with Government yesterday. Okay, very early, very aggressive. Alistair taking a lot of the brunt of damage and not allowing Don to do anything there as well, because it was just a little bit too early.
No.
Oh, you're 34 seconds. What are you playing at? Jesus, man.
Yeah, I'm back at 34 seconds. What are you playing at, son?
It's what you get for not pausing.
That is true.
Pause. Right, there we go. I'm on it. I'm on the ball. I'm on the money. I'm on the money. We're on that Capybara money.
Very interesting start here. Both the... Wow, there is lane swaps galore this game.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Prince went into the mid lane. S-Style went down to the bot lane. Karakop and Monaco in the top lane. Monaco's headbutt pulverizing a freaking Gromp. What the hell is going on?
He's got jet lag from Monaco.
Crazy.
Shen's on the opposite side of the jungle. I mean, there's no whole bars going on right now in this game, it seems. Everyone's got a bit kerfuddled. Everyone's having a bit of a mare. But to be fair, I mean, the Orianna going into the Vladimir, to be honest, in the mid lane is probably not a bad shout. And then Yone going against the Fiora down in the bot lane is a bit of a tricky one. And then Phil Final Wax going against a 2v1 up in the Baron lane, especially with Ziggs. So being able to just try and leap in on the Ziggs, but then you've got Alistair that can boink him out of there. It's just a little bit of a non-starter, it seems. Aatrox looking for a rotate, though, up into the Baron lane. Yone going in with the help of Cold Q there. Just in case anything pops off.
I don't think any of these teams are going to be taking any risks at the moment. Nothing's going to happen really in this early stage. You're seeing that there's a pick in the mid lane. Prince has to flash because Monaco used the headbutt pulverize. So few summon spells being used here, but nothing too crazy in terms of kills just yet. You can see that Ferox is now level 5, so it does have the ultimate.
Oh yes, he can get across that map as much as he wants to. A little bit of action going on down in the mid lane. The shockwave goes up onto the Alistair, but Aatrox takes the brunt of the Alistair's boink there. A lot of heal coming from the Vlad as well. Shen going in onto Vlad in lane, so he could have been anywhere in the world, but he stayed in that lane. And then Final Wax just completely outplayed the Yone in terms of him trying to do as much damage as possible onto Final Wax.
No kills, no action, no nothing.
And no action.
Aye, aye, aye. When are we going to get some action?
In competitive? Never. Never!
Never say never.
Yes, a very slow start in first part of the match. Not too sure with all these lane swaps. I thought something probably would have popped off around about now. We see that Ignite was used onto the Fiora there from Yone. But not much to come of that Ignite, as she was pretty much full health, but was probably looking for some sort of heal.
What is going on? What is happening?
What's happening? What's happening? 36 seconds until the jungle objectives are up. Will we see...
Maybe we'll get some action.
The Cappies go for one of the... Maybe they both target the same objective and we'll get some big boy action that we've been preparing for about 5 minutes now. 5 minutes plus the 2 minutes that we've had to wait as well. Ooh, we got Heartsteel Yone. Oh. Oh. Sexy boy. Okay, going with the knockup.
Now, in the previous game, it was Capybara that were the ones that had the setup around the Rift Herald. Maybe it might be Baguette now. Saying that, Baguette are backing away a little bit, and it is going to be Capybara with the priority over this Rift Herald again. Second game in a row that they're able to get this priority over the Rift Herald. Baguette are very split up as well, but it looks like Monaco wants to go in. There is heavy dive here with Monaco. The shockwave comes in, but it doesn't really do a lot of damage, and Baguette are doing extremely well in this team fight. You can see that everyone was able to survive. No one died at all, but the HP advantage goes over to Baguette because of that incredible engage there from Monaco. Looks like Capybara wants to go for the dragon, but they don't want to give this up. They might be able to even take dragon and Rift Held. No, the dragon does get secured by Phaeton in the end, able to quickly capitalize. Really well played there. But more kills are going over to Baguette though.
Last bit of damage onto that dragon really saved it with the smite there, but we get the grits onto the Alistair. So Coldy Q coming for a kill on the Alistair there. It comes through, but he is going to possibly potentially go down here. He manages to escape with so little health, but Ziggs takes the turret. So not only he doesn't get the kill, but he gets the turret. So first turret does go to Baguette. So it's already a little bit more of a fast-paced turret game for the Baguettes here. But when you have a champion like the Ziggs, you would assume that the first turret is going to go for your team, especially with his passive and especially with his kit just being utilized and made for turret taking games. They do get the first dragon as well on the side of Evergaming, but they did get the Shelly on the side of Baguette. So a little bit of a 50-50 split there in terms of the jungle objective. Done on the run from a 2v1 of the Jax, and Seth managing to get out there as well. He's still committing for the 2v1. I'm not too sure he can come out on top of this, or at least try and get some kill of this here. He's just looking for a push as well. The Shen comes through as well. So we saw the reason why he was pushing. He was trying to get Ferox in there, but I think Capybara called that as well. So that's why they was retreating back to the turret for safety, knowing that the Vlad and Shen couldn't really do much whilst they were there.
Shen ultimates have not been that effective this game. Unfortunately. I mean, the only time the Shen ultimate was really helpful was when he used it on Monaco in that big massive team fight around the Rift Hell. Wasn't able to get a kill, but was able to follow up on the assistance. Other than that, hasn't really made any plays in the side lane, which is something that you really want to do with this Shen pick. Try and get advantages in the side lane. At the moment, though, Zaku is coming up against Don, but you can see that Don's healing is already pretty insane. But Zaku trying his best here. Oh, the flash forward as well with the ignite. Solo bolo Q kill by Zaku here. They're going to engage onto the bot lane as well, though. Everyone is extremely low, and it is going to be Final Wax taking a kill. But Zaku with a huge solo bolo play, killing the Don here in the Baron lane and taking that tower.
Kind of what happens when you take a mid lane into that top lane and you got Zaku on the Jax. It's just going to completely outshine with that flash and damage outdone there by the Zaku on the Jax there. Getting the Baron lane turret as well, potentially looking to get the dual lane turret as Yone aggresses but goes back with his shadow form. And then we're going to potentially see a first tier turret down in the mid lane. Can they get this? If they can, this will be huge for the Capybara. Considering they were down 1 turret and 0 literally about 2 minutes ago, they've managed to take 3 turrets and take the turret game for themselves.
Huge win here for Capybara, being able to get the solo kill Baron lane. They pretty much won it in all 3 lanes. Solo kill in the top lane with Zaku able to trade evenly in the bot lane but take the tower and also take that mid lane tower. So overall a great win. Cold Star going towards the Baron lane at the moment. Maybe Don is going to be in a bit more trouble again. Has to use the flash to get away. Don is playing with fire right now. He's not in the same spot as what he was in last game, where he needs like a few items to be extremely strong. But there's the play in the bot side. Zaku, no way. He lives. The shielding, the grass of the Undying, the counter strike as well. The Ziggs ultimate doesn't even kill him. Zaku, what was that? That was incredible.
Incredible. I thought the first strike was actually going to come through and literally give him a soft love tap to finish him off there, but no, the shielding from the Jax there was just beautifully done. So shielding from the Orianna, came through very nicely and just on time for Jax. It was a very well-timed play making and player saving from the Orianna there. So well played by Prince once again. Prince still on 1-0 though, so not quite the same effect he has so far. He's still building up to that point in the game. In terms of the lane, though, he is actually behind the Ziggs already. Only ever so slightly, though, so it's nothing to be too concerned about. And then in terms of Capybari, they are pretty much leading in terms of the other lanes. Very minor, but still leading nonetheless.
Our big lead at the
Dragon
moment
goes over.
the big lead at the moment is in the Baron lane. You know, everywhere else is pretty much even in gold. Only like 100 gold differences here and there, but ZywOo is extremely far ahead at the moment. And the problem is that Final Wax is going for the same Fiora build again with the Manimune, which is going to mean that she's not going to have the same sort of power as what you expect her to get. So she is going to be fairly weak at the moment. Oh my god, the flash in as well, but that might be a little bit too deep there. Ton unfortunately going down, but Style now gets a solo kill on Don. Don is just getting solo killed left and right at the moment. It is not looking good for him this game.
Everyone taking solo 1v1 kills onto Don, unfortunately. Yone still, I mean, Shen still committed to taking down the Yone here with the taunt, but then we see Cold come through, but I don't think the Shen is going to commit there. Orianna was potentially, Prince could have rotated around as well to try and take Shen with the set, but it looks like they're going to go and rendezvous with ZywOo in the mid lane. They did take the second tier turret down in the bot lane as well, so they're currently already up by 3 turrets to the 1 turret on the side of Baguette. But however, that goal difference isn't massive as a whole, as a team. The main goal difference, as Stu said recently, is that it's all in that Baron lane thanks to ZywOo. Jax got quite a bit of stun there, but nothing really came of that, so able to escape.
The mid lane now as well. Mid lane is also looking incredibly strong. This Yone is starting to slowly come online. Bit of a different build with Blade Ring King first item. More going for that 1v1 potential rather than the, you know, the team fight crit damage that you can get with Solari Charge Blade. Blade Ring King incredibly strong in the side lane with the 1 versus 1. Getting the drain, getting the extra, you know, percent health damage. So I have to see how that plays into effect.
Absolutely. The Baron is up, but whether one of the teams will go for it, I think they're just going to try and find a good team fight here. Okay, Ziggs takes out the Yone, so Capybari already down by
on the flank.
Teammate. Yep, Fiora is on the run to the Orianna. Not quite catching her, though, because of the movement speed increase of the Orb. Set just trying to upset the balance and flow of that chase as well, and he did that very much beautifully. Got his Warmog, so he's got that loads and loads of health currently for his team to try and support as well. But Cold Q on the set so far is currently 1-1-1. One's all over the board, but there's that double CC from the set. We've got ZywOo coming in as well. Don to the back of the line trying to take out the Orianna because they know where that damage is coming from. Set with the CC once again. Sanguine Pool just trying to stop everything but they can. But then we see Coldie getting another kill. And Baton is looking to take to the back of the line, taking out the Alistair as well. It's just 3 of the Baguettes left in the bakery, but they are pretty much burnt out after that team fight as well.
Extremely close fight there. You can see the Prince was trying his best to do enough damage, but I believe his shockwave missed in the end because he used it for a shielding to keep Cold Star alive, but we're still able to win the fight. This is a little bit risky because the jungler is still alive for Baguette. Estelle is going to jump over the wall, do a little bit of damage for the moment, but maybe they're going to risk this. The Don and Monaco have both come back alive, but none of them have teleport, so they're going to take a little bit of time to come back here. And actually, Fiora is going back to the base as well. Ferox goes in a little bit too early. He's going to come down to the smite fight, and it's secured by Faton. It's secured by the Capybaras, and they're going to look to try and win this fight. The Shen ultimate comes in onto Karakot, which keeps him alive. The Don's trying to flash in and save the day, but no one dies. So the win in the end comes from the Capybaras with that Baron buff.
Yep, huge victory there for that team. Fight for Capybari taking the Baron as well. They've just got to try and do something with it. That mid lane is looking pretty juicy in terms of the minion waves halfway through it. But then we see that the Baron lane is taken down by the minions on the side of the Baguettes as well. So minions are definitely earning their keep this match by taking a turret for the Baguettes. But they are still down 2 turrets compared to Capybari so far. The third and final dragon is up. Are we finally going to get a Dragon Soul for the second day of playoffs? And it's going to go to Capybari, they do get the Dragon Soul, and it is going to be the Cloud Dragon Soul.
Cloud?
Ocean,
Man.
sorry.
No,
Ocean,
man,
ocean,
no.
and the motion of the motion, ocean.
Ocean, not Cloud. Cloud was deleted. RIP Cloud.
Yeah, Rip Cloud. I had a bit of a PTSD there from when he got deleted out of existence, so.
RIP Cloud Drake.
It's my boomer brain kicking in there for a second.
Ocean Drake is probably one of the best Drakes as well that Capybara Elites can get, because the amount of healing that they're going to get as well for this Yone to stay alive, for the Aatrox to stay alive, the Set to keep himself alive as well, the Jax, like Ocean Drake is one of the best Drake for these bruisers to take, and that's exactly what they're going to get. They're going to get the extra healing, they're going to get the extra little bit as well. They're going to take one tower down. They're going towards the second inhibitor tower. No more Baron buff left though, so these minions are going to be a little bit more difficult. The shockwave misses. The Yone goes in. They're just going underneath the Nexus. They don't even care right now. They've taken 2 kills. I'm not too sure if they're going to be taking any more. No one on Capybara dies. The stasis comes through. He's still not dead. Finally, someone goes down. Coalstar goes down. The Don's trying to clean up the fight here. It's extremely close, but the slows are coming in from Prince here. Don needs to be extremely careful, but he's going to back off for now. But that was insane. Still a 2-for-1 trade win here for the Capybaras.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw the Aatrox there looking pretty low, still managed to survive, and even before he didn't even actually see his end, Coldy managed to go down there. But I think the utility of the set going in with the engage, and then obviously having Orianna on orb on top of the set seems to be playing very well here for Capybara, it seems. But yeah, well played to them, getting the Soul, getting the Baron. They've managed to get the mid lane inhibi as well. So once again, it's going to be a 20-minute mark game, it seems, but I think it is definitely going to go in favor of Capybara this time around again. So it's going to be hard for Baguette to sort of try and formulate their plan to going into the 3rd game of the series, which could potentially be the last, considering how the draft's been going and how targeted Ferox has been in terms of the draft. So Capybara have definitely got the team against the wall in terms of one of their carries.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy to see how well Capybara are actually playing this game and playing this series. Looks like Shen is going to go towards the Baron lane, but Zaku might be able to get the 2 versus 1 here. He kills 1 already. He might even try and take a second as well. The healing comes through, but it's not going to happen. And now Shen can use his ultimate to get back into the fight. He goes right on top of Don here, and maybe, just maybe, Baguette can turn things around. But they didn't see S-Style on the flank. They didn't see S-Style on the back line, and Prince gets a double kill already. They're trying to kill Carrot Cop as well. They're not going to just yet. Faton is still alive as well. He is very low. The Don and Carrot Cop are still left alive. There's 2 champions they want to keep alive right now. It is them 2. They're going to try to do so much damage. Look at Faton. Faton's on the flank onto Carrot Cop. Don goes down, and Faton's going to get the 2nd kill as well onto Carrot Cop. And that is GG's for Capybara. They are going to take game number 2 here. Very, very strong performance here from Capybara. I was not expecting the games to be kind of this one-sided. I mean, the early games are very even. Both teams are not taking any risk. But when it comes to the team fights, Capybara Elites are just a whole nother level right now.
Absolutely, and Prince doing it true Prince fashion. So a little bit of a late start on the Orianna, but still finishing 0 deaths again. So not a single death for Prince. 2 games in a row in a playoffs situation is very impressive for Prince, especially when he's got such a great support player like Cold Star in his lane. But to go 5-0, get MVP again, is huge for Prince there. So I mean, there's not really much they can do in terms of the draft. I mean, in the last game. So I think the switch up in the mid lane is going to be something that maybe just needed for Don this time around. But we see the Galio ban come through, and also the Zeri. So probably be preempting a little bit of a different matchup down in the bot lane. But Nautilus is, however, going to be locked in this time.
Interesting, to ban away the Galio kind of leaves themselves open a little bit, or leaves themselves closed in terms of support picks. So very interesting there, not leaving more supports open for themselves, because they know the Capybaras are probably going to pick their support on this pick and leave that dual lane pick till last. Zig's not banned away either, so Ziggs can be another pick. Coldstar probably going to go back on that Ornn, who was not Coldstar, sorry, Monaco. Looks like he might be going on the Ornn this time around. Sorry, they swapped sides. I got a bit confused there, but Ornn being taken away this time. So I'd see if Monaco can have the same impact with Ornn support like Coldstar did in game number 1.
Absolutely. So Monaco on the Ornn is going to be interesting to say the least, but that Nautilus coming through is going to be a bit of a showstopper, I think, on the side of Capybari, because it is going to be Coldy on the Nautilus, and we have the Jax come through once again. So Zach Q on the Jax in that first game was just a huge pick. Oh, he got Severe come through, and oh no, it's Kassadin. I am not looking forward to this match. It did not go well last game. I'm going to cast with my eyes closed, unfortunately, for Baguettes. Please, please just win this match.
Hey,
if you win this match with Kassadin, I will respect you.
Kassadin seems to be a bit of a curse pick at the moment. Hasn't really performed too well in terms of wins or losses. I think it's on like 0 wins, 3 losses, I think, at the moment, or 0 wins, 2 losses. I'm not really too sure. Yeah, going to be a bit of a difficult matchup against this Vladimir in the mid lane. Both very heavy scaling late game champions in the mid lane. You know, jungle matchup is going to be an interesting one. We'll have to see what Ferox can do on this Lee Sin. This is a big question now coming into this next series or next game.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this Severe falls in for Prince here, because obviously we've just seen him on an AP champ for the best of those 2 games. So seeing Severe come through. But I mean, with the On the Hunt, hopefully it gets utilized a little bit better today than we saw yesterday. But On the Hunt, with the likes of the Jax coming through, rolling up with the Vladimir as well as the Shen, could be a huge play and a huge engage and a start to a massive playoff for Almighty Jesus, Ever Gaming Capybari. But I'd bish, better bash, have a bit of a laugh with the ricochet bounce damage.
We'll have to see what's going to happen. Going to be pretty exciting to see how this series is going to conclude, if it does even conclude in this game.
Yes. Whether it does that is yet to be seen. There we go. I'm synced up. Sync me up. Once again, we're seeing that 2v1 in the mid lane. It's a bit of a tradition here, it seems. Karma and Vladimir being left alone down in the bot lane. So we're seeing those lane swaps like we saw in the last game. Not as frantic, though, because obviously we still got the Baron laners up in the Baron lane. But however, we see mid go down to the duo, and then duo are gone up into the mid. So Kassadin and Ornn going against the Severe as well. Oh, could this be first blood already? No, he gets the ignite off, but it does, however, nerf the heal from the Honeydew fruit. So let's see what happens and rolls out here.
Again, very interesting, like you said, you know, in terms of lane swaps and everything. It does, you know, switch things up ever so slightly. It does make a bit of a difference to some of these players, because they're not too used to maybe playing in a solo lane. Someone like Carrot Cop, for example, not used to playing 1v1 against Ornn. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Switches things up. Now, so far, so good. Other than that interaction in mid lane that pretty much went in favor of Barbie there, but just no kill claims. Everything else has just been a bit vanilla right now. Carrot Cop actually winning this 1v1 so far down in the bot lane, but you got to be careful of Vladimir, though.
Yeah, this is the thing about Karma. I mean, even if you play her in the mid lane, you play her in the 1v1, is, you know, still very strong. Oh, Prince has to flash away here.
A huge knock-up.
Doesn't need to be very careful. This is a very difficult game, I think, for Severe. He doesn't really have a lot of range anyway, and you're just going to get jumped on by, like, Kassadin, Lee Sin, Camille, and you don't really have too much protection. You have the Lee Sin ultimate that can maybe protect you for a bit, but I don't know. Severe's going to be a little bit difficult on here, looking to try and get a kill. Karakop, hold on a second. Karakop going to try and live this whole thing. Okay, Coldstar gets the kill eventually.
No.
3-man gang top bot lane is a bit difficult.
Definitely, especially when you're Karma. No amount of shield and movement speed is definitely going to get you out of that one, especially with the Nautilus. But no, back onto the point of the Severe as well. So obviously she has the skill where she can block a skill, but it's the fact that she has to either block an or knock up, block some CC from the Camille straight onto her, block the Lee Sin. It's just so much to consider, and even though they have the likes of the Shen that can come in onto Sphere as well, but also the Nautilus that's there to assist them most of the time. But again, yeah, lack of range. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how On the Hunt is actually implemented on Capybaras. I think that they'll do actually very well with this champion. But first blood does go to them. It goes to the support pick, and it is Caldy Q doing what Caldy Q does best.
Holy moly. Holy guacamole.
Oh, Shen down in the bot lane again with Vlad. Cassidin's now swapped the lanes to go against Vlad here.
Swapping all over the place.
Schwiddly, schwiddly, swap. Looking for a recall for the first time for... Actually, no, we went back after that last engage, sorry. Got no mana, do.
Got no mana. Got no fans. Got no mana.
But what they have got is the jungle objective starting in 40 seconds. So will we see a big bash up for Shelly? She loves the attention. Bless her. And then we've got the Ice Dragon. So will we see Almighty Capybara Elite go for a second Dragon Soul of the series? Oh, called Q. Is that Q? QQ?
QQ.
QQ.
Any QQers? Oh, here we go. I do have Shen ulti.
Oh, Shen come through with the Coldy Q. The Qsters are up here. The Q-tips are together. And we have Severe coming through as well. So it does look like there is going to be a big presence up in the top side of the map. Looking to focus. The Nautilus here getting a knock-up from Orm. Beautifully done by Elise in there. So Ferox finally shining. Taking out the Nautilus. They kind of want to try and maintain that Shen, though. They want to trim the bushes of the Shen before he tries to come in and steal the Shelly. Blast Cone is being nullified there as well. Karma trying her best to keep the Shen off of the Shelly. They do get Shelly on the side of Baguette here, so Ferox managed to get the Shelly first, which is always a good thing for the team. But Don, actually, no, not Don, sorry. S-Star is coming around with the Vladimir. I'm so used to seeing Don on Vladdy, but let's see how it goes.
Yes.
Capybara is starting the Dragon as well.
Yeah. Well, both objectives might have gone over in favor of Baguette, but it seems like they just want to give up the Dragon for now. Don is in a whole heap of trouble here. I'm not too sure how he's going to escape from this one.
Now, Counter Strike coming in with the Shen for the taunts. There's too much. Too many CCs. Too many CCs in the bot lane. Baron lane potentially going down as well. They didn't actually get the whole of the mid lane, sorry, either. It's still there. It still needs a little scratch. Bot lane going down by Evercappy Gaming.
Does seem like
takedown for Capybara.
It does seem like Ferox is a little bit more comfortable now on this Lee Sin. Is going for the Serpent's Fang as the first item instead of the Ghost Blade, because he wants to try and get that shielding away, because there's a lot of shielding for likes of Shen and also Nautilus. No surprises there. So we have to see how both these teams try and turn these things around. But in terms of gold at the moment, Baguette is up about 1,000 gold, but kind of expected really when you have something like a Lee Sin versus Shen matchup. Also, you got quite a lot of scaling on both sides as well. So, I mean, this game is pretty much as even as what it gets right now.
Absolutely. No more advancements on any turrets. Obviously, they managed to get the Baron lane turret on the side of Baguette, so it's currently 1-1 in terms of turrets. However, Zach Q gets taken down there. The Shen is not going to help out.
Good.
It is a 3-on-1. Shen came through a little bit too late, but Prince and Coldy are here in the mid lane. But we have Ornn, Lee Sin, and Camille still looking to do bits onto the Shen, however.
You can already see how much big of a difference Ferox is making on a champion like Lee Sin compared to the other two games. He's really the difference maker really for this Baguette lineup. Really, really huge player right now.
And the fact that it was targeted and actually made ineffective in those first two games is pretty huge for Evergaming as well. But straight onto the Severe, but then we see Carrot Cop getting the kill, however. So kill goes over to the team. Rather it go over to either the Karma or the Lee Sin rather than a support, though. But it's still big news here for Baguette. And they could potentially get this mid lane as well with Casting coming around with that minion wave as well. So they do get a second turret, so they are up in the turret games here. But yeah, I mean, they're playing it a lot better. And like you say, we'll keep pointing it out, but Ferox is definitely playing a much better game now that he has a champion that he's a lot more comfortable with and that he can carry with as well.
We'll have to see how the next few minutes go. Dragons have been coming up in about a minute's time. Pretty important dragon as well for the Capybaras because they're going to try and take this one away and maybe look towards that dragon soul if they can try their best.
Absolutely. I mean, Ice Dragon would be pretty huge in terms of slow and true damage as well.
To see if they can secure these next two dragons, but for now it looks like they're looking towards this Baron lane. A flash came in from Shen as well up in that Baron lane. They're really going all out for this Camille kill, and it might just be stopped in its tracks because I mean, why would you go for this play on Camille? Camille has the leg sweep. She also has flash. Like, there's no way you're catching up to a Camille, even with Nautilus ulti and the flash in from Shen. So bit of a weird play here from the Capybaras, but they are going to take one tower away. They are going to lose a tower in the bot lane, so not really too sure about that one. And the problem is they are now going to be extremely slow towards this dragon. Maybe they're just going to try and push for a tier 2 tower. They're not, so they're just going to give up this dragon for free now. It's a very weird play.
Yeah, quite a weird play by Capybara, but I personally, I think because of the draft here and allowing the Lee Sin to come through for Ferox, it's kind of just them saying like, right, okay, let's see how much of a difference it's actually going to make in terms of this matchup here, letting Ferox actually have a champion that he can play in the jungle, and then they know for the next game, because they're already 2 games ahead sort of thing, so they can make this mistake in the name of science, in the name of Wild Rift science, to see how different it actually makes for Ferox to actually get a champion that he can play. So all that targeting in those first 2 games clearly made a difference because they're already up 2-0, and now that they allow one of the champions onto the board, it now makes a huge difference to Baguette. They're even in kills, they're ahead of gold, and they're ahead of the turret game. So it's clearly a setup that is definitely working here. It also helps that mid lane is ahead of gold. So these lane switches in the early game has clearly helped Baguette also. And yeah, the Severe has been pretty much a no pick so far. It's still waiting for it to pop off.
Needs a little bit of time to actually come online. Again, a lot of scaling on both of these two teams. Definitely have to wait until it comes into these late game fights. We've seen already that the execution on you know, the execution and the plays in general later on in the game from the players of the Capybaras are just a lot stronger right now. So I have to see if that comes into fray when we get into those late game fights. But no Dragon Soul for this game. So it's going to mean that both these teams are going to be pretty even in terms of objective stats. And Ferox is playing with fire right now, but he doesn't probably know that the rest of the team is also up here.
Absolutely. Gotta be careful. I mean, Baron Nashor is up, so if they could get a big, at least like 1 or 2 kills here, they could potentially go for the Baron Nashor after this. But a lot of spins for wins there on the Jax. Huge engage from the Monaco on the Ornn there. Nautilus getting taken down by Kassadin. Uwu, and then the Karma comes through with a kill onto the Jax. So that is a 2-0, yeah, trade for Baguettes, and it looks like they're going to go for the Baron as well. Early Baron gets the worm, and this could be big for them when it comes to this split push.
I mean, this Severe right now is just doing nothing at all. Like really nothing at all. You can see the problem at the moment is the range difference right now with this Severe. You know, she can't auto attack in fights. You look at that last fight, I think she's thrown out like 2 Qs, and that was it. Like, she can auto attack at all. She can't get into range. So really difficult right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a no pick. We saw it yesterday when it came through. It came through once and was kind of like, yeah, we can kind of get excited. It's a new champion within the mix, but at the same time, what can she really do? In terms of this team comp, not a lot. Especially the fact that Evergaming aren't really running ahead of the early game as well, so she's not really too far ahead in terms of her lane as well. So Carrot Cop's actually ahead of Gold ever so slightly. She's only 2 items up, so Bloodthirster into Navari's. So quite a bit of damage coming through. Whether we'll actually see that bounce damage actually take place later on. But once again, the thing with Severe going into these team fights, because of the enemy team comp, she needs positioning, but her range doesn't allow her to have positioning, so she has to make her movements well played. But 1v1 well played by Don down in the bot lane against the SS style.
And this is a point of, this is a position where casting becomes completely disgusting. And there you can see again, Ferox with the kick underneath the tower, another kill over to Baguette, and this is much more like it for them. They're going to take this bot lane tower away. It was actually, there's actually a trade kill in the end up in the Baron lane with Ferox going up there as well. So Baguette right now are just taking more and more towers, and they are accelerating their gold leads.
Hugely accelerating the gold lead. Managed to get the inhibitor down in the bot lane. It's 31 seconds till the Infernal Dragon is up, but whether the game is going to continue until then is yet to be seen. Will we get another 20-minute game? I am going to assume so. Even though we've got those 2 inhibitors, I feel like they are going to try and whittle this one out a little bit more. Status comes through, absolutely negating the Nautilus ult there. So well played by Don on the Caster. He has now activated. He's got his 3 items. He is ready to scale. But yes, very well played by Baguette, and it all started from that draft with Ferox getting his pick, and also final wax on the Camille as well.
Crazy. It's like they're also going to take this dragon. Doesn't really mean too much, gives them a little bit of extra damage, like 2% damage. It basically
10k
means
gold
nothing.
ahead. It's crazy.
Yeah, Baguette are really looking strong in this game. Don doing incredibly well on this Kassadin. Ferox as well has really been the playmaker though for this team. Most kill participation out of anyone else on the team right now. And you can see why that these champions were banned away from Ferox, but in a position where you are giving away blue side when you're obviously the losing team could decide what side they're going to pick. So looking at the next game, I'm going to be surprised if Capybaras now pick the red side and they just again ban away all the champions away from Ferox.
Absolutely, ban away all the champions from Ferox, don't pick the Severe, and then you are pretty much good to go. Aatrox didn't come through because obviously Aatrox was banned this time. Instead of a prio pick for the Aatrox, they went for the Camille. I mean, it's serving them well, but like you say, it's definitely the play potential of Ferox on the Lee Sin and team participation as well. They're looking to go for their second Baron Nashor, 2 Baron Nashors in 1 game, whilst the enemy jungler is up and in the mid lane. They are still unaware what is going on because they have no ward on there. They're not looking to go to the Baron Nashor either because they think it'd be a little bit still stupid knowing that the Jax is pushing down that side lane, but they have the 2 inhibitors. They can have this freedom to take these Baron Nashors but lose that bot lane turret as well.
Baron going in the hands now of the Capybaras. They're going to try and make a play bot lane. Shen Shen misses the taunt. No. Everyone else is going to be able to join back in the fight. It's a bit of a back and forth fight at the moment in top lane and bot lane, but they tried to make a play up down in the bot side of the map, but that play didn't even work out for them. And look at Ferox, the kick flash, absolutely beautiful. And Baguette are going to look to try and finish this game on a clean sweep. Karakop is going to survive as well on the back line. Ferox gets another one. He's now on a killing spree. And Don's just going to be able to come into this and clean up the rest of this game. Unstoppable for the Don. Unstoppable for Baguette. And they will fight back and make this series into a 2-1.
Yep, 2-1. I mean, we saw it from the draft that the Lee Sin came through, and obviously finally Ferox finally getting something that he can play, and obviously the Camille pick as the priority as well. And then obviously Ornn, Monaco, I do think deserves a shout out there with the Ornn, and then obviously the fact that they're able to actually get the Cassidin activated, but I think that was sort of led up because of Lee Sin's pick there as well. So they have very two big AP damage dealing champions on the side of either of these teams, because they've got the Orianna and they've got the Ziggs. So I feel like if they go for a Vlad, it's quite a bit of AP coming through for either of these teams.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yasuo being banned away, Akali being banned away. Two really, really strong champions for the Don in the mid lane. Wonder what they're going to pick here. They're probably going to pick their jungler here and leave the Don to have a counter pick here in the mid lane. Wouldn't surprise me. Ferox maybe going for something different here. Xin Zhao is still a pretty aggressive champion and a very proactive jungler as well. Obviously did receive a buff in the most recent patch and can also do a lot of damage. I think we've seen one Xin Zhao this playoffs, if I'm not, I can't remember who it was. I definitely remember seeing one. I'm 100% sure we saw one. I just can't remember who it was, but does a lot of damage. You know, you go for something like the Ghost Blade Trinity Force Xin Zhao build, and it's really, really nice.
Riven bringing it back even more classic.
Riven for Ton in the jungle as well. This is really throwback comp. Jesus, I haven't seen Riven jungle in such a long time.
But no, Riven coming through, I'm very excited now. Xin Zhao as well, still a great pick. In terms of trying to, I mean, they haven't really got much of a range, so knockback in terms of trying to negate some range damage isn't really going to be something that Xin Zhao can do here, because the only range they really have is the Ziggs coming through there.
I mean, the main thing is just to disengage for the Camille. You know, if the Camille jumps in, you know, Xin Zhao can just use the ultimate and just knock everyone away. Like that's Xin Zhao's ultimate can be used aggressively and can be used to block the range attacks, but it's also very good at just knocking away melee champions. And that's the great thing. And you know, you got the likes of Yone that you want to knock away, Riven you want to knock away, Camille as well. All these champions are going to be diving in onto the Orianna. So Xin Zhao is kind of used as like that protection in a way. So be very curious to see how Ferox is going to play it, because it's not sort of, you know, I would expect Ferox is probably going to be, you know, diving in quite a lot. So maybe my idea of, you know, Xin Zhao might not actually become a thing, but that is a possibility of how you can play Xin Zhao, and it could be really, really strong.
Absolutely. And we see Don actually going on to his Aurelia. We saw Aurelia yesterday. So I've got big hopes for Don on his Aurelia, because throughout the group stages he's played it and it's been a fantastic pick. And I think going into a team comp like this, where it's pretty much close quarter combat, other than the Ziggs and the RE who get to duke it out from a distance, it is pretty much neck and neck. They are all going to be at each other's throats. Big old CC from the Aurelia to try and stop the Yone with his spirit form, but then also you got Riven with CC as well, Fiora with a mass heal, like you say, with the Xin Zhao. The disengage is probably going to be the big utility of his ultimate, and then you have the likes of the Nautilus as well, but then Galio with his global knockup. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this fans out for both of these teams, but we could be in here for a reverse sweep. It's definitely a change up in the comps here, so
Be interesting to see. Here we go. Capybaras against Baguette. Game number 4. Capybaras currently 2-1 up. They win this game, advance through to the final, and they will play WLG.
WLG. Not much in terms of lane switch ups here, other than mid going down to bot and then bot going up into mid on both of the reverse teams here. Just like the last match. Just like the last match.
Got to be a bit of a slow start here.
Yeah, I don't think we get any early lane ganks for either of these jungles here. I mean, More so maybe the Jinzhou over the Riven until she gets all her level 5. That gives her her true gank potential there. But trying to gank into the Baron lane would be very tricky, especially from the Camille, because she can just get away so easily.
Bit of a snooze fest to start things off.
Snooze. Both the AP champions duking it out in the mid lane. The only AP champions, apart from obviously Galio, and a little bit of AP damage from the naughty boy, but true AP champions, there's only one on each team. It's dwindled down.
Like, this is so weird. Like, 2 AP mid laners are playing actually mid lane, but then it just leaves like 4 bruises in the bot lane. Like, I don't know, it's extremely weird. I don't know how to think of it. Meta is extremely weird, but I'm sure that's not going to stop both of these players. Let's keep our eyes on Ferox this game. So on a pick that we haven't seen so far, see him play in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anything can top the Shen pick, because the Shen was just was not it. Obviously, Lee Sin was just all over it. Amazing playstyle. Shen ults kind of whiffed, but even on the side of Evergaming in the last game, the Shen ults just weren't quite there in terms of potential and utility. And seeing Riven in the jungle is definitely a nice little bit of flashback for me. I do love Riven in the jungle when it does get played. It doesn't get played often, but when it's a flashback, I do acknowledge it and respect it.
Nothing happening, Blam.
Nothing at all, lab.
I could take a nap.
We could. Until first blood pings off, then we know that something's going to start snowballing from there. We get some action. We can get the popcorn out. It's going to be a beautiful time. But we just got to wait for that speck of a moment. We saw it with WLG for the first, I think it was the last 2 games where they had a really slow start, but then they just got their foot into the rhythm. And then it was just run away with the fairies from that point. But I think the thing with the thing that's really stopping the pace of the match this time around is obviously if Baguette's play anything wrong, then it's over for them. But red team overstepped there, so the Baguettes get taken out. So Nautilus meets his end. Ziggs ult coming through, trying to save. Done on the Aurelia, but it's a double kill for blue team in the bot lane.
Beautiful play from Capybara, especially S-Style and Phaeton. Great setup play around the Don, trying to get the picks there, and also Monaco just not able to find the numbers advantage there in the bot side for Baguette, and Capybara's come up huge there. That's the great thing about Galio ultimate, that global ultimate. You could be at any place at any time, making it extremely difficult to make any sort of aggressive play at all. So great start here for Capybaras.
Especially when you got like 3 huge engages on your team. You've got Riven, obviously Yone can go in with his form as well, so Galio ult onto that, and then obviously Camille with the Hextech ultimatum. There's just so many different combinations you can see coming through for Capybara into these future team fights. However, the jungle objectives are up pretty soon in 3 seconds. Where are people going to be? Blue side already trying to be all over that Rift Herald and take the vision down there for themselves. They're trying to get a little bit of a advantage on them in that bush, but Jinzhou already pretty much caught them red-handed. They're starting Rifty whilst we see the Fiora looking to push the bot lane. Zach Q doing what Zach Q does best, looking for a split push, trying to give some pressure onto blue side. Not sorry, final wax, sorry, trying to give some pressure onto blue side. I had a bit of a stroke mid-game.
Oi, oi, oi.
Shelly in the midi. She loves the mid lane. Now Shelly, she loves the attention. Loves the mid lane. Gets a few nice little bit of turret platings for Evergaming Capybara there, so turret and gold is still in their favor, however, just so slightly.
Let's see how things go here. Maybe we might be able to get our first team fight here. Yone's going to look to ulti in and gets a double Yone ultimate into the Ziggs follow-up as well. And that engage is absolutely huge for the Capybaras. Prince is in a little bit of a difficult spot at the moment. He's kind of by himself. He has to use a flash to get over the wall. Everyone at Capybaras is low, but they do have a numbers advantage with Don dead. They just need to make sure they don't die. They need to quickly go back to base and need to get back onto this map quickly to try and take this dragon away. But it's getting lower and lower. You can see that, yep, they, you know, Baguette cannot contest this at all. They're way too low on health. They took way too long to take it. And the Capybaras will take the Rift Herald and the
Ocean Dragon.
And the Ocean Dragon, yeah.
Absolutely lovely for Capybaras there. So 100% split for the first round of the jungle objectives. Not a turret yet taken, but mid is low thanks to the Rift Herald. We have a little bit of a contest down in the bot lane in terms of turret. Could we see Final Wax try and push for the first turret for his team? Yone goes over the wall to try and take on Monaco and do a little bit of damage before any sort of interaction goes on with the help of Galio. Don up in the top lane as well. He is here, there, and everywhere. He was trying to make some sort of ends meet in a lane. Currently, it is not looking too good for Don on the 0-2 on the Aurelia, but still no items. But as soon as she gets some items through and a little bit of a power spike, she should be all good. Nice bit of CC there onto the Yone.
Oh, another engage here, Baguette. They're going to get one kill. Can they get another, though? The Galio is going to take a little bit of a while, but hey, he's able to escape.
Gets out there.
Not enough CC there, unfortunately, for Baguette to be able to stop that.
Galio had places to be. He was like, you're not stopping me. And then we see Ziggs down in the mid lane looking to take this mid turret, and it goes down. Ziggs has his sights on the turret, and it goes boom. However, the Yone does go down, so Yone has been taken down. So first kill for Baguette has actually gone onto the scoreboard. So they're no longer 3-0, which is always a better place to be than where they were.
Bit of a slow one, Blam.
It is a slow one, considering
it's not helping my energy levels. Not helping my energy levels.
It's a slow one. But like I said in the introduction, I think it's a slow one because Baguette knows what's up stakes. It's like, if they lose this one, it's down to third placement. Even though third placement is not a bad place to be, you could be one of the teams yesterday that fell and not get anything. Or you can go to third place, Yone. Wait,
no, they didn't have awards. Wait, how did they know they were in there?
That was just absolute blind vision. That was like, this seems to be a little bit too quiet there. Using the map like most people don't do.
Wait, they must have had vision or a ward or something, because there's no way Yone just ulties into that bush. They must have somehow got the had a ward or something there. That's really insane. Really, really nice play there.
Very
That's going to give them even bigger leads.
Huge lead for Yone. Knock it up there, but I think it was the Ziggs and the Ribbon that got the kill anyway. So what that does for Ziggs' lane is definitely put him ahead by at least almost 1,000 gold. However, Final Wax is actually ahead of the gold in the Baron lane, but Ribbon is taking lead in that jungle with almost a 2k gold lead by her own. So well played to Ribbon there. This pick seems to be pretty solid for Evergaming. Thanks to her being able to just close a distance with her first ability, and then obviously CC with a shield as well, and then obviously huge damage comes through when she procs her ultimate, and then uses her shockwave on their ultimate to close in some ranged kills. And so far, it's working very well with 2-0-3 lethality first.
Oh my god, they're going in again.
Yone once again with these clean knockups from S-Style. He is loving this Yone pick right now. And just Coldly just taking so much damage.
You can see the follow-up that they can do here. I mean, all they need to do is just lock someone down with the Camille ulti. But Camille is nowhere to be seen at the moment, but you can see that the combo, what they can, you know, kind of cook up. Yone or Camille goes in, Galio follows up, and then Ziggs can follow up on top of that. It's such a really basic ease of execution combo that many competitive players have played over the years of Wild Rift. So no surprise here that the Capybaras are bringing it out, and they're just like, okay, we just need to close this game out. Let's play something easy, and all Ferox might be in a bit of trouble here.
Absolutely.
Or maybe it's Monaco that's in trouble.
Monaco come out to play. Gets Hextech ultimatum by Camille just as they set up the second dragon of the game. So Ice Dragon potentially going over to Capybari. So looking for the second Dragon Soul of the series. And it's getting ever so closely to be a reality for Evergaming Capybari.
Crazy.
I can honestly say, I think this is going to be a 3-1.
It does look like it at the moment, Blam. 5,000 goal lead. Oh, S-Style, you are a thing of flipping beauty. Another 2 kills over to Capybaris, and they are just cleaning house. S-Style has completely popped off on this Yone this game. Every single opportunity he gets, he just goes in with his ultimate with no fear at all and gets these insane engages.
Fear of the unknown is definitely paying off for S-Style and Capybari, because it's not always S-Style that's actually claiming the kills. I mean, Ziggs is on 3-0, River now on 4-0-5, so very much heavily participating in every team fight. So every moment that S-Style is setting something up, Riven is pretty much tracking down and staying close by to S-Style, because he knows he's serving up some hot steel and not hot steel, and serving up some kills for the Riven.
Oi. Not too sure how Baguette are going to come back into this. They are really far behind right now. Mid lane over 1,000 goal behind. Jungle is 3,000 goal behind. Nearly 4,000 goal behind. S-Style goes in again. And Ferox has not had the game that he has wanted. This strategy that Capybaris have come out with in this game has worked out beautifully. It's just that one game, that last game, that they weren't able to, you know, deny all of Ferox's champions away. But every single one of these games has been clean as anything for Capybaris, and it looks like they're going to book their tickets into the finals against WLG, the top 2 seeded teams on the group stage. Looks like it's going to be a date for them in the finals. A Shockwave comes in, maybe they can look for something. Double kill for the Oriana, so might not be over just yet, but 3 inhibitors down. It's going to be very difficult to try and come back from.
It's going to be a pre-20-minute game, I think. I think we're actually going to get a pre-20-minute game this time around. Yeah, I think so.
They got enough damage.
So. Our minions are there. They have 3 of their champions there. Ziggs is there as well.
Wow.
All they can do is try and defend it with the Nautilus and the Oriana, but it's just not going to be enough, especially when you have Ziggs there. So once again, 3-1 to the Capybari. It doesn't mean that Baguettes have finished their run here. They will go into the 3rd place matchup tomorrow against Ladno. So Ladno against Baguette. There's been many times where Evergaming Capybari have beaten Ladno. They've beaten Baguette with Seracrow here. So it's going to be interesting to see how Baguettes play against Ladno. So not quite